USPAP page 278, appraisal development and scope of work issues continued. Number 211, appraising two lots as one. This is new. Question. I have a lender client that wants a market value appraisal completed. The property consists of two separate legal lots. The highest and best use for each of these lots is as a separate one-unit residential site. However, the client wants them appraised as though they were one legal lot. The intended use is for mortgage lending purposes. May this assignment be completed treating these two lots as if they were one legal lot, with the highest and best use as one legal lot. Response, yes. However, complying with the lender's request will require use of a hypothetical condition. If the client is a federally regulated financial institution, the client may also need an as-is appraisal. If the appraisal were based on a hypothetical condition, for instance, market value of the subject as if it were a single lot, and if necessary for credible results, the appraiser would have to develop an opinion of highest and best use of the hypothetical parcel. If this leads to the conclusion that the highest and best use would be subdivision into two or more lots, the appraiser must perform the appraisal recognizing that potential use and may need to perform a subdivision analysis to reach a credible opinion of the highest and best use of the hypothetical parcel. Number 212, impact on values of surrounding properties. This is new. Question. My state recognizes or requires that when property owners seek an exemption to a zoning requirement, they demonstrate that the exemption will not diminish the value of surrounding properties. I am occasionally engaged to render an opinion in these matters. Is the service that I am providing an appraisal? Response, yes. USPAP defines appraisal in part as the act or process of developing an opinion of value. The comment to this definition goes on to explain that the opinion of value does not necessarily have to be a number. It can be a relationship. For instance, equal to, more than, not less than, to a numerical benchmark. For instance, market value, assessed value, collateral value. In this example, the question could be restated as, will the market value of the surrounding properties be less than their current market value if the exemption is granted? Therefore, the resulting response is an appraisal. Number 213, is turnaround time an assignment condition? This is new. Question. My state's appraiser regulatory agency sent out a newsletter that says a due date is an assignment condition and that failing to adhere is a violation of USPAP. Is this true? Response: assignment due dates are contractual obligations, but are not assignment conditions under USPAP. Turnaround times and similar items are business practice issues and are outside the scope of USPAP. Assignment conditions are addressed in the problem identification, that's underlined, section of the scope of work rule. The rule states in part, assignment conditions include assumptions, extraordinary assumptions, hypothetical conditions, laws and regulations, jurisdictional exemptions, and other conditions that affect the scope of work. Laws include constitutions, legislative and court-made law, administrative rules, and ordinances. Regulations include rules or order having legal force issued by an administrative agency. End of page. Page 279. However, an appraiser failing to comply with contractual obligations could potentially be subject to civil penalties. Number 214, inspection using a drone. This is new. Question: I specialize in eminent domain and right-of-way appraisal assignments. My subject properties are typically very large, wooded, and sometimes have rugged topography. I have begun to use a camera mounted on a drone to view more of the subject property than is practical on foot. Drones even help me view the comparable sales. The certification required by Standards Rule 2-3 requires me to disclose whether or not I personally inspected the subject property. Do aerial viewings using a drone constitute a personal inspection? Response: yes, provided the use of a drone was in conjunction with your visitation of the property. Unmanned aerial vehicles or drones are a tool, not unlike binoculars. Tools such as these facilitate a much more thorough inspection than possible by the naked eye. Use of a drone or similar tool without, that's kind of highlighted, a visitation to the subject property, for instance, remotely, would not, that's underlined, constitute a personal inspection. USPAP does not require that you inspect the property being appraised. The scope of work rule requires that you disclose the extent to which you inspected the property. Therefore, just as you would disclose whether or not you entered the property or that you relied upon surveys and topographical maps, you would disclose that a drone allowed you to view additional areas of the subject property. Conversely, if somebody provided you with footage filmed by a drone or a manned aircraft, it would be misleading to represent this as a personal inspection. Because this is a rapidly evolving technology, regulations by government agencies, such as the Federal Aviation Administration, are also rapidly evolving. Make sure you are familiar with all relevant federal, state, and local laws, requirements, and restrictions. This may be of particular importance if you use aerial technology to view comparable properties or those with access restrictions. End of page.